Hello folks, Aaron here from Beansprout. I have this little Carpenter's chest I picked up on Facebook over the weekend, and I thought I would show it to you folks as I kind of learn and research about old hand tool traditions. One of the things I'm in love with is just toolboxes, and as little bits of functional craftspeople's art, I think they're beautiful. So this one came from somebody I knew on Facebook. Had a few tools in it, which was nice, but I asked her and she said that her dad was a carpenter and this was his, but she doesn't remember anybody using it. They used it just as like old-time decoration, which I could see. So it's probably a couple generations older than that even as well. This form of toolbox is pretty ubiquitous, and it would be hard to say when it came from because people have made boxes like this for hundreds of years, possibly hundreds of years. But from the hardware on it, there's little flathead screws and little brass hinges and stuff. So somebody who knows more about fasteners might be able to tell me when that sort of thing comes from. But it's made of Douglas fir, which makes sense because it's from the Northwest. And what I really like about it, the thing that I think is really charming, is all the edges and some of the joints have copper flashing bent and nailed to it with these little copper or brass nails. So the whole thing is like banded in copper. Makes me wonder if, is this copper flashing like roofing material or gutter material or something? But it makes it, like there's a lot of extra work that went into it to add that copper, which I think is cool. Little butterfly hinges, a little thing here. So I looked in my Jim Tolpin book. I was pretty sure I'd seen those in here. And he calls a toolbox like this a lidded tote. Yep, lidded tote. And he discusses several common ways to do this. Compared to just a normal tote that's open, why would they put a lid on it? Well, you could lock up or secure your tools a little better with this, and it keeps the wind and rain out, and it keeps the dust out, so maybe somebody just did that. It's also like a good size form. Like this would be heavy with your tools in it you need, but you could one-hand this on the way to the site. You could one-hand this with a lunch pail or a sawhorse or something. So yeah, so I don't think this would be used for someone's entire collection of tools. This would have been used for on-site work, I imagine. So the way it works is this: it's got this hasp on the top, you open it up, and then the front lid here is your sawtill. And I fit one of my little saws in here. I think you could fit 3 saws in this sawtill, probably crosscut, rip, and maybe a little dovetail saw or something smaller, trim saw. And then you'd put a jack plane down here and a couple planes down in the bottom, maybe your brace and bits, maybe your hammer, little things like that you need. And then it had 4 sliding tills here. There's only 2 left in the box. Inside one of them was a sharpening stone holder, and this is, I've seen this a lot with old-timey craftsmen. Craftspeople. This is one chunk of fir carved out to hold his whetstone. His or hers whetstone, but I imagine his. So somebody took the time to do that, which is pretty cool. So yeah, 4 sliding tills here. The other one had a really cool folding rule. And my son Henry had never seen one like this, of course, because he only knows tape measures. So it was fun for him to figure out how to use it and imagine a world without tape measures. And it's actually a really nice little rule. It doesn't have a maker on it, but I'm gonna keep it and use it. So I think I had 4 originally. So if you had 4 drawers in here, you've got room for screwdrivers, pinchers, hardware, marking and measuring equipment, whatever else you need. But if you needed your planes out of the bottom, you'd have to remove a till and then pull the plane out, then put the till back in. So that's not ideal. And I have a feeling that the other 2 of these got lost over the years just for that reason. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do that. But if you were a trim carpenter and you had lots of little fiddly tools, I think you would want these 2 other drawers to hold those. So yeah, I could see 1, 2, 3 planes down there, all your little bits up in here, chisels, mallet, hammer, all that. 2 or 3 saws, and then close it up and take it to the work site. When I put it in my truck, it fits right behind the seat of my truck. It's, just narrow enough. What is this, maybe 7 inches, 8 inches? It's pretty cool. So, what am I gonna do with it? Well, I'll probably use it to store some tools right now here in the shop, stuff that doesn't have to be real close by. But this would be great for when you gotta take tools somewhere to work on a project and keep them protected. And I just am charmed by how much this mattered to somebody and what it is. I mean, somebody likely carried this to work every day for a long time. That's how they fed their family, just from a little box that they made. Now, one thing that needs to be done, it's been stored for many years and getting wet on the bottom. So the bottom panel is not in the best shape, and I can see from it that the fur has gotten pretty wet and gross. So it needs what are called rot strips. And all that is just basically feet. We need to nail or screw some feet to the bottom of the chest, which are replaceable, right? And then wherever it sits, it's out of the wet. Even sitting over here by my main door, I don't want it getting wet from rain seeping in or something. So I'm gonna do that just to protect this chest for another 100 years or so. And I might rub a little oil on it, but I probably don't really need to. It's pretty cool the way it is. So yeah, wish I knew more about it. I wish I knew who made their living with it. It is pretty cool. So cheers.